All right, so something different with today's video. I'm going to be doing story time with Blitz 5 because I want to share with you guys the experience I had being able to visit and tour one of the PUBG offices in Santa Monica, California. So I'm going to explain why I was in California, some of the pictures that I took at the office, the experience of going through, even though it's just an office, it was actually a pretty cool one. There was like a whole studio kind of set up inside, and also show off some of the swag that they gave me on the way out. So this is one of the first pictures here. This is as soon as you walk into the lobby, there was this giant winner, winner chicken dinner sign with the Dino Land train kind of set up here. And what's funny about this whole story is actually just the week before, if I can zoom out here, I was actually outside of the PUBG office in New York. And this is in kind of upstate New York in Saratoga Springs. And this was just a complete coincidence. So I was actually going to Vermont for my birthday for just the weekend. I'd never been there before. I don't ski. I just wanted to go up and check out a new state because I'd never been there. And on the way back down, I realized that PUBG was located here and we needed to make a stop on the drive. It's like a 6-hour drive home. And this was actually halfway between Vermont and New Jersey for me. So we stopped in Saratoga Springs. I got coffee and I was like, oh, PUBG is here. And it was on a Monday. Let me contact them and see if I can go in. They had told me in the past that if I was ever nearby that I could come take a tour, but unfortunately most of the people were not there. And the person that I was closest with was not there, was at a conference. And because of the pandemic, not everyone's been working in the office. And it was just one of those days where nobody was there. So I was able to go outside with my son and take a picture. My wife took a picture of us being there. And a lot of people were asking why it says Mad Glory here, because originally this studio was called Mad Glory. PUBG bought them, Crafton bought them, and then they became PUBG, the Mad Glory division. So this was just an interesting thing. Very small office here in New York, but obviously it was cool being at that sign. And then the following week, which is crazy, is I had to go to California for a wedding of a close friend. So we flew out, my wife and I, my son, and my in-laws, my wife's parents. We flew to LA. The wedding was outside of LA, but we wanted to show my in-laws LA because they'd never been there, Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and all that stuff. And you can kind of see here on the map, if we zoom in, you have the Santa Monica Pier, which is right on the ocean, which is a very hot spot for tourists and stuff like that. And for anybody, it's just a really cool area. And then you have two kind of main boulevards. You have this highway, and then you have the Santa Monica Boulevard, which is kind of famous. And as you drive down here, this brings you in to LA proper, Beverly Hills, Sunset Strip, where the Comedy Store is, Hollywood, all that stuff. So you can basically go through all of the main areas here off the boulevard. So we were driving up and down this, touring Beverly Hills, showing my wife's family all this stuff. And my wife actually Googled, she's like, PUBG's in Santa Monica, right? I'm like, yeah, but I don't think they have like a major office there or like any kind of sign to take a picture. And it turns out they were located right here. And we drove past it a couple times, which was kind of cool. And we saw, I'm like, oh, this is a pretty big office park. And if you look, zoom in here, PUBG's here. There's Amazon Studios. There's Naughty Dog Entertainment. I think there's Hulu on the other side over here somewhere. There's just a lot of cool companies that are located in this area. And it's a very nice office park. So I'll actually go back to kind of show you guys the pictures. So we pull up, I just got out and I was like, if there's a PUBG sign, I'll take a picture. So this is me. There was no PUBG sign, but I'm like, this is their office. Hopefully they don't mind me posting this, but I mean, it's public information. And I posted that online and I didn't want to bother them. I don't know too many people that work at this office. I knew a couple people that worked at the New York office. So I just went about my business. We kept touring around the area. And then, here's another picture of the office park, which is pretty cool. Very nice. It had like water in it. And actually something funny about this is, I'll just get back to the story. So I'm driving around and I get a message from some people at PUBG. And they're like, oh, why didn't you tell us you're in the area? Come back. If you're close, we'll give you a tour. And we had already kind of driven like 15, 20 minutes away. But then I realized that we actually had to drive back here because the wedding I was going to is actually outside of LA. So we're just here for the rest of the day and then driving outside 2 hours outside of LA to go to the wedding. And we had to get on the highway that was right by Santa Monica. By the PUBG office. So we ended up coming back and doing the tour, and it was kind of interesting. But when we came back to the office park, so I was out here and I was kind of like, when I originally went into the office, into the lobby, which I don't have a picture of, I guess I could show this. So we parked here and I went into the lobby and they were like, do you guys, why are you here? Do you have a meeting? And I was like, or they said, are they expecting you? And I was like, yes. And then I was like, no, because this was before PUBG called me or messaged me. So it was kind of awkward and I just left. And then when I came back, the guy was staring at me like, why are you back here? And I was like, no, this time's legit. They're actually coming. And but the guy was like, you can't go up there. Someone has to come down and bring you up. And there was a little bit of delay between that happened. So I was kind of awkwardly sitting in the lobby for like 20 minutes, maybe even like a half hour. The guy was just kind of staring me down. So I was just like on my phone, checking Twitter and doing that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, when all that was happening, in the lobby, a guy walked up with a giant hawk on his arm and was like letting him go, flying around the office park and then landing right back in front of the PUBG studio, literally like right here. It's just a guy with a hawk. I have no idea why he was here in this office park on a Monday morning, Monday afternoon. I have no idea. Actually, this was Friday when this was happening. It was Monday back in New York. This was Friday in PUBG. Anyways, we finally get up to the office, and my wife and I, after traveling a lot, we were here, and they took our picture. And this is a pretty cool thing. PUBG Andy was a friend of mine who works at PUBG. His profile picture is the sign in the back. So I always kind of like this PUBG sign with the lighting. It just looks really cool in person. So we were finally able to get in and tour around. And I took a picture in the seat here in the front lobby. And I'm not able to include all the pictures, not everything we could take pictures of. And I actually had to sign like an NDA to like go in case I guess I saw any like private information, stuff like that. So, but obviously I'm allowed to share these here. And what walking around the office was really cool is a very modern office. I worked in an office in New York City for many, many years. And this was just decorated very well and also creative. So all of the meeting rooms, this one was a closed meeting room, had locations on the map. This one says Ferry Pier. I took a picture because it's an inside joke in the stream that I love Ferry Pier and Erangel. And then I don't know how they picked this because they all said like a distance away from another city. I don't know why they picked Primorsk here, but this is 1,020 meters northeast of Primorsk, which, okay, it is. Okay, I was going to say, is it really that distance? I guess so. And then capacity 6. And then if I zoom out again here, they had just some regular office rooms. And this one said the school 380 meters southeast of Rozak, capacity 14. And Camp Bravo, same thing, Sanok, 610 meters north of Lakawi, capacity 6. And these were all of the offices. I didn't take a picture of all of them, but they all had like kind of cool names. And just standard office, if you've ever been into one, just a long desk with chairs and then usually a TV in case they're doing like a Zoom meeting or a presentation. Pretty standard in terms of that. And then as we walked over to like the kitchen area, they had this YouTube play button for 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which I thought was really cool. And then before this, I don't know if we were allowed to take a picture of it or not, but they had this whole gaming setup, which could have been like an office area, but it was opened up completely. And it had about, I don't know, I'm going to roughly say between 12 and 20 computers set up and a whole caster booth and like literally like a studio setup with like boom arms and microphones on like dollies or whatever you call those things where the cameras could move around almost like making a movie. And almost looked like they had like a green screen set up. And I could tell that some of the it was almost like a stage area with like props and stuff like that. And I kind of recognized it from a few PUBG videos. I'm not sure if they film a lot of stuff there or most of it's in other offices or maybe in Korea. But they had that whole setup where they're like, we might do some in-person events here when things get back to normal. And we have filmed some videos here, and that was very cool, but I didn't take any pictures of that. But they said that, sometimes they do some games there, fun work events, or they have people come in and do that, which was really sweet. And then as I love YouTube, the play button was pretty cool seeing that. And then they had this wall here, which they were saying this is kind of like a joke compared to the other offices, or in Korea, they have so many cool decorative things. And this is like their mini version here in Santa Monica. Because again, this office is not very big. But they had a bunch of painted helmets and awards. This looks like some kind of Steam award. And then I think these are trophies from different events. You guys would probably shame me for not knowing what all these are. I know this is one of like the esports trophies, I think. I didn't know what all this stuff was off the top of my head, but I recognized a lot of it. And then something I did recognize, this is me taking a selfie in front of it. So I recognize myself. I'm kidding. But I did recognize this trophy. This was from, I think, PGC 2019. This was a huge trophy here that they had set up. One of the Nations Cup. In any case, the big tournaments. Give me a break here. I've always been a huge fan of PUBG, but I didn't follow the competitive scene until literally last year. So I wasn't really too big on the competitive scene until just recently. especially I think being a console player, sometimes you just didn't follow all that stuff. And then here's something that I hope I can share. This was an event that PUBG did called PUBG, where they came out with this like 8-bit version of the game, or 16-bit. I don't know what you would call this. I think it's 8-bit. And it was for an April Fool's Day event. And you could play like a top-down version of PUBG. And they actually had this in their kitchen, which was so sweet. I love this game. I know not a lot of people appreciate it, but I was really into it. I thought it was really fun. I wish we could still play it. And unfortunately, though, when he turned it on, PUBG wasn't even playable at the moment. They just had like some other game in here. Again, I should know this is like Galaga or whatever, but it wasn't even playable on there at that moment. But they said that it was working on there at one time. So, you know, maybe there's just some like technical stuff on there. But overall, this is really cool. And I don't know how many of these exist. So this was a very cool thing, in my opinion, that I was able to see. And I mean, I would love to have that in my basement. And then obligatory sushi pick. This is where we got lunch before we left to our drive outside of LA. We picked it up to go. There's this famous sushi place that's in LA, and there's some places around the US. This is, I'm kind of blanking on the name right now. I think it's called Sushi. This is Chef Nizawa, and it's famous hand rolls. And if you guys are into sushi, I mean, this is some of the best sushi out there. And he has a restaurant called Sugarfish. It's in New York and LA. If you ever have the opportunity to eat there, I highly, highly recommend it. And even this sushi on the go was ridiculously good. So that was kind of the experience. Then we had to head out, and that was my last day in LA. And then when I left, they gave me some cool stuff that I want to share with you guys. And some of this I'm actually opening for the first time. So we got this really big mug from PUBG Santa Monica. This mug is actually giant. It's like 3 times the size of a normal mug. So this will probably just go somewhere in the background of the stream, which is pretty nice. And then PUBG gave me this hat, which is very cool. And what's interesting about this is that all of the major PUBG products actually have kind of a branding on it, which I'm going to show you guys. So this wasn't made from like PUBG directly. This was actually probably made at like a third-party thing, or like a lids, where you go in and then you give them a logo and they print it for you, because this is a new era cap. Because take a look at this. Pretty sure here. So this was a PUBG hat that I bought a long time ago when it's kind of beat up. It's probably like dirty. I wore this a lot. A lot of the PUBG gear, you'll know it's official because a lot of times it has like this yellow inside, or you can see, trying to think, it might be on the back of this jacket. There's usually this like official PUBG gear. Here we go. It will say like land, loot, and survive on the inseam, like that. And you can normally tell this is like legit products, because there's so many knockoff PUBG gear, which is something PUBG personally needs to work on. If you guys want to hire me to work on that, I'll do it. They have so many knockoff gear. If you go on like Amazon or Etsy, there's so many fake products. And PUBG's done a lot of branding or partnerships with other companies. But normally, you know, it's a legitimate PUBG product when it has that land, loot, survive. I have like a Dino Land t-shirt that has the same thing. PUBG sent me sweatpants that has the same thing. So this, you could tell that this was just like a one-off hat. Maybe they had like 100 of them made, or 1,000, who knows how many. But in any case, I needed a fresh PUBG hat because the other one is pretty beat up. So I really appreciated this. I always appreciate a hat. And then PUBG gave me some masks, and I actually had bought this. They were doing a thing when COVID first hit for like charity as well. Money went to masks. Like, they were pretty expensive, like a $20 mask, but a lot of the money went to charity or to fund like other masks and stuff like that. And I already have one of these. I'm actually going to open up so you guys can see it. So I had bought this mask, and they gave me like 3 of these. And here it is. It says warning on it, PUBG. It's a little strange, like I not something that I would wear at the public, but I felt like it looked like I was a little bit of a hooligan here with wearing this. So I stopped wearing this one. Maybe I'll give one of these out, because they did send me like 3 of them. And then this one I didn't have, and there's just 2 of these. I think I know a person, one of my longtime friends and community members. He actually ordered one of these from PUBG, and he never got it. A shout out to Huck Flynn. So I think I'm going to send him one, because he never got the mask, but he didn't mind because he paid the money to charity. And this was the other one. And I think there was one other style that you could have got with this partnership that PUBG did. There was like 3 styles. Those are 2 of them. And then here's something I haven't even opened yet. I think this is a handkerchief, or a, what do you call these things? A bandana. Let me open it. I was just waiting to do this video to open it. It feels like a bandana. It just says PUBG on it. Actually, I guess I could have just kept it in the plastic to make it like, I don't really use bandanas. Like, what would you use this for? Do you guys have any ideas to use this? I don't know if you guys have an idea of like what to use a bandana for. I mean, I guess I could wear it during stream, like over my face or something, like as a little joke. I don't know. And now I don't even know how to fold it up the right way. Damn story time videos ruining my PUBG merchandise. I'm kidding, but there you go. PUBG bandana, PUBG lanyard, which I was going to keep this in pristine condition because I just really like this lanyard. But I'm going to open it up and I'm just going to use it because why not, right? I was telling Stream this the other day that at a certain point, like I used to love collecting things. Like if I got anything like this in the past, I would never open it. But now as I've gotten older, I kind of just want to use, sorry, this is like ASMR opening. I kind of just want to use the products that I get at this point. And I was telling Stream that if I collect something, I try to buy 2 of them now, one to open and one to use, but I don't have 2 of these. So we're just going to use it. So this is a PUBG lanyard, which is really nice quality, actually. Like this is a really nice lanyard. What I like is a lot of these are plastic, but this is a metal clip here. So I'm going to use this. So if you see me out in the street, I might have my PUBG lanyard on me, which is very cool. And then they also gave me these 2 keychains, which I connected together so I didn't lose them. And I love this. This is going on the Blitz 5 keys right now. This is a PUBG pan bottle opener. And what's cool about this is PUBG ran on Jinx.com. They had a partnership with Jinx, which they make video game merchandise. They were selling pans, PUBG pans on there. And I gave a lot of them out as gifts back in the day. So you guys might have received them if you've been part of my channel for a long time. And I think I sent some of them out as thank yous, but they weren't bottle openers. And this one is. And I actually already opened up a beer in California with this, and it was really satisfying doing it with the pan. And then there's this other keychain here of a little PUBG character, kind of like the charm you see on the weapon. In game, the like little figurine of the battle royale, level 3 helmet, player unknown kind of character. And it came with this sticker or like little card here. And it says, show us your charm, PUBG Squad Up 2019, hashtag PUBG Squad Up 2019. And I think this was from some kind of event where they gave these out. I don't know if it was like a tournament or some kind of, like TwitchCon or PUBG thing. But I think they gave these out in an event and they must have had some extra that they included in this swag bag, which is really cool. So again, 2 keychains here. Definitely going to be using the pan one. And I think that's it. We got the hat, the lanyard, all that stuff. So that was pretty much it, peeps. That was my experience. If you guys have any questions down below, please let me know. No, I did not say anything about PUBG or fix the game. The people that were there were not that kind of thing, and nor would I say that to them. Obviously, this is a different time being there, but it was a very cool experience. I'm very honored that I was able to do that, and PUBG has been so great to me. I know the video is long at this point, but I just want to say a huge thank you to them. They are such a great company in terms of what they do for all the people that play the game. You might disagree with them in certain things with the game or decisions. Nothing's ever perfect, but out of all the games I've ever played, I've never had this kind of opportunity to even talk to the people that work at the company, let alone be partnered with them, let alone have all these experiences. And PUBG's done so many things for me as I start my journey, starting my own online business, streaming, doing YouTube content and all this kind of stuff. They've been so supportive and helped me so many steps along the way. So I'm forever grateful for all the people that work at PUBG, and all my interactions with them have always been amazing. They're so nice. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or what, or if they just hired really great people, but everyone there is so awesome. So a big shout out to the PUBG team. They are absolutely the best. And thank you guys for being so kind and always doing so many great things for me and a lot of the PUBG partners out there. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video or on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Blitz5 and friends. As always, thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.